but today we will be discussing the concepts uh, and all the formulas involved in Markov theory. Okay, so let's start. The greatest Markovian assumption is what we know as the forgetfulness assumption. And this is the saying, today is the first day of the rest of your life. So what does this saying mean? It simply tells us that if you want to know anything about the future, today is enough for you to predict what is going to happen in the future. You do not need the past, okay? Which is why we refer to Markov as the forgetfulness assumption, because we tend to forget the past and just remember the present so that we can predict the future. Okay, so Markov theory is actually an analytical technique that helps us uh, in predicting the future state of a process. So just before we go to the definition of what a Markov chain is, let's go through some definitions that would be important for us to understand Markov chains and Markov theory. Okay, first is a stochastic process. So a stochastic process is basically a collection or a family of random variables that describe the evolution through time of a physical process. Okay, so take note that a stochastic process is denoted by x sub t, okay, where x here refers to the state of the process, possible states of the process, and t refers to time. Okay, so xt is therefore a random variable. So if we have x1, that would be the state of the physical process, the possible states of a physical process in period 1. Okay, and then we have x2, the possible states of a process in period 2, and so on until we actually have xn, the possible states of a process. So let's replace this by t, possible states of a process in period t. So what do we mean by a physical process, and what do we mean by uh, the evolution through time of that physical process? Okay, so for example, uh, you find employment in a company as a uh, production supervisor. Okay, so through time, you are expected to transition from one job position to another. So let's say that the random variable x, okay, would have several possible states in each period. So let's say in period 1, you can be employed as a production manager. You can be employed as a production supervisor. You can be employed as an assistant production manager, or you can be employed as an operations manager. So let's say that these are the different possible states of this physical process. Okay, and this is actually referred to as your state space. Okay, where X is your state and the possible values or the possible uh, conditions would be referred to as your state space. So now, when I go to period 2, take note that it is possible for any employee to transition from one position to another. So it is possible for you to transition from production supervisor to production manager. It is possible for you to transition from production manager to operations manager. And sometimes in some unforeseen cases, it is also possible for you to be demoted from production manager down to being back to an assistant production manager. Okay, so take note that within this state space, there are possible transitions that could happen. Okay, there are possible transitions that could happen. And a stochastic process actually captures the evolution through time of this process, no? Of this process of transitioning from one position, from one employment position to another. Okay, so uh, from period 1 to period 2, it is possible that you transition from one job position to another. From period 2 to period 3, it is also possible that you will transition again from the previous position to a new position. Okay, so therefore, there is what we call an evolution in terms of job positions through time. This is what we are referring to. Okay, an evolution through time of a physical process, wherein each period, each time period, okay, is a random variable, and hence we say that the stochastic process x sub t, okay, x sub t is a family of random variables. So this whole thing makes up the stochastic process. Okay? And when this value t is finite, it's countable, then the stochastic process is said to be a discrete time process. Okay? But if this value t is infinite, not countable, then t would become an interval of the real time, okay? And hence it's not countable. So the stochastic process is now said to be a continuous time process. So fast forward a bit, Markov chains or Markov theory is actually a discrete time stochastic process. And therefore, we will not be concerning ourselves with continuous time stochastic processes. This is what we will be focused on, discrete time process. Okay? So next, we have discussed what a state space is. Basically, the state space of a stochastic process is defined as the set of all possible conditions or all possible values that the state x, the state variable x can assume. So in our example, it could be the different job levels or the different job positions as one move through time. I can give you another example. It could be the performance in terms of sales of a particular company. So if I were to categorize the performance of sales, let me write it here. And let's say the state space would be high, moderate, and low. Okay, there could be more possible values, very high, very low. Okay, so let's limit it to 3. Then we can say that the random variable x, okay, the sales of a company in period 1 could be any of the three possible states, H, M, and L. Okay? And the same thing in period 2, okay, the possible values could still be H, M, and L. Okay? So we can actually capture it through uh, a diagram such as this. Okay, so let me label this as the first state, the second possible value, and the third possible value. So it is possible for, okay, my state, the sales of a company, to actually change from one value to another through time. Okay, so as I move from one period to another, it is possible for me to move from high sales to medium sales. So period 1, or now you have high sales. Then after one period, you have medium sales. That's possible. Or now you have high sales. Then after one transition or one period, then you have low sales. Right? So this similarly, if you have moderate sales now, it is possible that after one period you will have low sales. And or after one period you will have high sales. Okay, that's very possible. So if you're doing moderately well now, next month or next year, okay, there was a sudden breakthrough in the market, a very good marketing plan, then your sales suddenly surged, and therefore you have high sales in the next period. Well, it is also possible that you're you're having high sales now, and because you are able to retain the loyalty of your customers, you continue to enjoy high sales in the next period, in which case the process will not have an actual transition. The process is said to have what we call a virtual transition. There's a transition, but the transition is from high sales back to itself. You retain it, no? You still have high sales. The same way, you can also have moderate sales now and have a virtual transition after one period and still have moderate sales. Okay, and going to low sales, it is possible that you have low sales now, and all of a sudden, next period, you will have high sales, or next period, you will have moderate sales, or you will retain your performance this period and still have low sales next period. Okay, so you will see that from one period to another period, there is what we call a transition. Okay, and there is supposed to be a transition probability as you move from one possible value of the state to another possible value of the state. So I can now have what I call a transition matrix. Transition simply means movement from one state variable to another state value. Okay, that's just the movement. Okay, within a period or from one period to the next. Okay, whereas the transition matrix gives you the possible movement from any state value to another state value from I to J. Okay, so that's what you call the transition matrix. So if you have a probability here, okay, from high to high, you have, let's say, 0.6. From high to medium, you have 0.3. And from high to low, you have 0.1. Okay, and then from moderate to high, let's say you have 0.4. From moderate to low, okay, you have 0.2. And from moderate back to moderate, say you have 0.4 again. And let's just attach probabilities here, no? Let's say transition matrix probabilities here from low to moderate. Let's say you have 0.1. Let's say you have 0.6 here, and you have uh, 0.3 here. Okay, so now we can actually create a matrix that looks like this, HML, okay, which we will call as P1. P1 simply means that this matrix represents the transition of this process from one state to another state in one period. Okay, so if we follow what we have here from high to high, okay, this is 0.6. From high to medium, okay, moderate, that's 0.3. And this from high to low, that's 0.1. And then from moderate to itself, it's 0.4. Moderate to moderate, moderate to low, it's 0.2. Moderate to high, it's 0.4. Okay, and then based on the example that I'm giving through this diagram, okay, through this diagram, you now go for low. Okay, low to low is 0.6, low to moderate is 0.1, and low to high is 0.3. Okay. So you have 0.6, 0.1, and 0.3. This is what we call a one-step, okay, one-step transition matrix. Okay, so another example could be your stay in DLSU as an industrial engineer, where you can describe the process of achievement, no, in terms of academics. So you can classify the state values as your X as either you're a Dean's Lister first honor, or a Dean's Lister second honor. So this is your state variable is actually your achievement, no, not a Dean's Lister. I don't know if this is still the categories that are prevalent right now, no, but let's say these are the three possible state values. And take note that if you are staying for, let's say, 13 terms or 12 terms, okay, so then T will be equal to 1, 2, 3, up to 12. And from one period to the next, one period to the next, and so on, okay, from one period to the next, it is possible for you to stay as a Dean's Lister, first honor, or it is possible for you to transition from Dean's Lister to first honor to Dean's Lister second honor, or from this Dean's Lister first honor to not a Dean's Lister. And similarly, if you're not a Dean's Lister, it's possible for you to be a Dean's Lister second honor, first honor, and so on. So take note that that physical process will evolve through time, okay? And it can actually take on different values as you move from period 1, 2, 3, up to 12. Okay, so that is what we call a stochastic process. And for a stochastic process, what's important to note is that we are talking about discrete time stochastic process. So therefore, T is finite. Okay, this one is finite. And then there is a probability of switching or transitioning from one state to another state, okay, within after each period or each transition. So we can therefore develop a transition matrix and use this, okay, use this transition matrix, okay, which is what is happening now, okay, to predict what is going to happen, say, in the example of the Dean's Lister and not a Dean's Lister. I can use this to predict what is going to happen, say, 5 terms from now, okay, based on this present situation alone. Okay, I can predict what is going to happen to the sales of the company 3 months from today or 18 months from today. Okay, and that's why the Markovian assumption is that the present, okay, is enough to predict the future. Okay, so if we go back today, which is this one, what is happening now is the first day of the rest of the company's life. This is all I need. This is all I need to be able to predict what is going to happen in the future. Very different, no, from the forecasting techniques that you have learned in your production management classes, where you basically make use of historical or past data to be able to predict what is going to happen in the future, or what we call as forecasting. Okay, so this one goes against the principle of using historical data and uses what you have now in order to predict the future. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, so now just to familiarize with a few more terms, an epoch is a point in time at which the system is observed. So an epoch is a point in time. So it means that if you observe the process at time 3 or after 3 months, then that is your epoch. Okay, that is the time period at which you are making the observation. Okay, so the states correspond to the possible conditions observed. So as I've mentioned, uh, these are the possible conditions that are observed for sales, okay, H, M, and L. So if I observe at time period 3 or the third month, okay, I can either see that the sales is high, moderate, or low. Now, a record of the observed states through time. So if I have a record of my observation in month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, regarding the sales of this company, then that is described as the realization of the process. Okay, so just some terminologies. Now, I have already showed you an example of the transition diagram, which is this one. Okay, it is a pictorial map in which the states H, M, and L in this example are represented by points and transition arrows. Okay, these are of course the points. The circles are the points, and then the arrows are the transition arrows. Okay, now the process of transition. So as I mentioned earlier, it is possible to have a virtual transition. Transition means movement from one state to another state. However, if you come from high sales and after one period you retained your high sales, then we have a movement, but we call that movement a virtual transition. It is one where the new state is the same as the old state. Whereas a real transition is a genuine change in state. So virtual transition is you retain the old and the new state are the same. But for real transitions, there is really a change in the state. So if you transition this month, you have high sales, and next month you have moderate sales, then you have what we call a real transition. Okay. So now, having introduced a stochastic process and transitions, okay, and the state space, we are now ready to define a Markov chain, which is our main topic for today.